Hello everyone, my name's Megan and aren't vampires kind of sexy? So we are commencing our spooky season vlogs with 5 vampire books because you know what's kind of sexy? Vampires. And I say this with full sincerity, and also because I really want to watch Interview with the Vampire on TV, and I haven't read it yet, and I own it, so I feel like I have to read it before I watch it, and I really want to watch it this spooky season. So hint for what's on the TBR, Interview with the Vampire, so I can watch the sexy vampire show. But ignore the screamy children, please. Thank you. There are other vampire books that have convinced me that I should read more vampire books, and the fact that I have 5 physically on my shelves that I can hold up and show to you means that there's something about vampires that I really vibe with. The Book Eaters by Sonia Dean isn't like vampires, but it is, and I really enjoyed this. Gave it 4 stars. The Historian by Elizabeth Kostova I really liked. Very slow, very atmospheric, very descriptive of random travels around Europe. But absolutely a vibe, and I really enjoyed this one. One of my favourite books of last year was The Vampires of El Norte by Isabel Cañas. Obsessed with it, I loved it so much, and I'm desperate to get my hands on a physical copy. And one of my favourite classics of all time is Dracula by Bram Stoker, the OG. Camilla was fine, but Dracula, I loved it so much. The mixed media, the drama, just the absurdity, it was incredible. The lack of vampire action in it may have been appealing also. Like, I feel like it was very much like a character study of just these 4 insane people battling Dracula, but like I had a fantastic time with it. So we're going to be reading some vampire books in this series to see if I can continue enjoying the vampires, especially since I do have so many vampire books on my shelves. There are books on my shelves that I didn't pick up for this series, even though I also still own more vampire books. Like, I thought sticking with 5 felt more reasonable. So to start with, we're going to go with the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix, which I think is sort of set in the 50s in a small town in North America, in like the southern states of the United States of America, as opposed to South America, which is an entirely different continent. And I've read Grady Hendrix before and really enjoyed him. I think I gave Her Best Friend's Exorcism 4 stars, and How to Build a Haunted House also 4 stars. Like, they were fun, but still also like spooky, kind of gross. And I'm looking forward to the vampire offering from them. As previously mentioned, Interview with the Vampire by Anne Rice. I hate this copy. I did have a beautiful floppy paperback that didn't have a silly sticker that I can't remove on it, and I think I lent it to a friend and they didn't give it back to me, but they've refused to acknowledge this, so I've lost it and had to buy myself a new copy. This cost £10. It's like not floppy, stick thin, but I think I'm really gonna like this. And I also have the audio, which I'm excited to jump into, so I continue with either the next books because I liked it, or just the TV show because it might be superior. So excited to dive into this one. Next we have The Pallbearers Club by Paul Tremblay, which I don't really know what this one is about. People call it kind of weird. I think it's someone writing a memoir and then someone correcting the memoir like alongside it, someone adding their own thoughts to the memoir, being like, this isn't how it happened, stop being such a tool. And I'm excited to jump into that and see how it looks. Yeah, so like, let's look towards the beginning. So even the dedication, it says for Lisa, Cole and Emma, and then someone has written underneath it, who are they? Which is pretty cool. And then yeah, so I think we have like an opening section by our first individual, and then a written section closely following it. Like, I do want to sort of look quite early. It's like, here it says Pallbearers Club meeting minutes, and then did you really write up minutes? Like, I think it's going to be sort of little interjections like that, but also then like longer interludes going forwards. And I'm really excited to read it because I've heard nothing but amazing things and I really want to give it a go. And then next we have Woman Eating by Claire Coda. This was a lovely gift from my friend Jem, who I believe really liked this and gave it 5 stars. I truly love this book and I hope you do too. Me too, Jem, me too. So this is, I believe, a slightly more slower literary vampire book about a woman who moves out of her like family home and now no longer has easy access to blood and is sort of struggling to acquire it because she lives in the real world and can't just go to a shop and be like, quarter of human blood please. So she's struggling getting blood from like butchers, etc. And I don't really know anything sort of plot heavy apart from that. I think she's an artist and sort of going from there, and I'm interested to see where this one goes. And then a slightly lighter option, but like, I really want to read this soon and I've not read it since it came out, which is just, it's so upsetting to me, and it does sort of fit with the theme, so I'm just giving myself just a little bit of a lighter vibe. A Tempest of Tea by Hafsa Faisal. I love We Hunt the Flame and We Few the Stars by Hafsa Faisal, the Sons of Aurora. Araria duology, and I'm pretty sure that this is art and she runs a tea house, but that also serves a vampire clientele. And then there's a lot of drama. Yeah, an illegal blood house by night. It's like vampires are in this, so it may not be the traditional sort of more gothic take on a vampire story. This is definitely more of a fantastical heisty element, like YA vibe, but I'm excited to give it a go because I trust Hafsa Faizal and I know that they've just finished the sequel, so that'll be out eventually. And yeah, pretty standard TBR, 5 books. A lot of them I have audibly, so I should be able to make good progress with reading them. I'll bring you along if I'm doing anything fun. I don't think I'll be doing anything vampire specific. I'm not sure what kind of vampire task I'll be able to do leading up to spooky season, but like maybe we'll decorate my house with some pumpkins, drink a fall themed cocktail. Like I don't know, but maybe I'll just give you updates on what I think about Interview with the Vampire TV show once I've read it. That could be interesting. I don't know, we'll see how it goes, but I'll check in with you when I have an update about starting one of the books, I guess. A little bit since I updated you because I'm now 167 pages into Interview with the Vampire and I'm not sure I've told you I'm even reading it. So let's start with my initial thoughts about this one, and then this evening I am planning to finish the last 2.5 hours of the audiobook I have left and then dive into my next book for this vlog, which is going to be, I think, perhaps The Pallbearers Club. I think that's what I'm in the mood for this one. So Interview with the Vampire by Anne Rice is a book about a vampire called Louis who is talking to a journalist about being a vampire and the process of him being turned from human into vampire and his experience with the changes that then unfolded due to that, and the people he meets and spends his time with throughout the process of him being changed and being a vampire. And so far I was so confused at the beginning of this because I've never seen the film with Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise. I do plan to at some point, but I really want to watch the ABC show. It is ABC, right? With Jacob Hennison and Sam Reid. So I started this so confused. I was like, wait, is this actually Lestat who's talking to the journalist? Because there's no way that Louis was a plantation owner, because he's a person of colour. And like, he couldn't have been a plantation owner. Completely forgetting that Brad Pitt was in the movie and that Anne Rice probably didn't write a person of colour to be their vampiric interviewee. So that was a moment. Ooh, sorry. Had to readjust my perspective on that one. But my thoughts so far on this are that I think I'm going to vastly prefer the TV show because this isn't doing what I want it to, in that I'm not getting any kind of amicable relationship between Lestat and Louis, which I thought there would be based on everything I've seen from the TV show clips and like the assorted movie clips that I've seen throughout the years. And I also thought I'd be more invested in the Louis Claudia arc. So Claudia is like their adopted daughter, and obviously there's the issue that this is told from Louis' perspective as he is recounting many years of his life to our journalist. So there's obviously the inherent bias that comes from it all being Louis' POV and him having the benefit of hindsight and perspective to recount it all back. So none of it is sort of an in-the-moment recounting. And I think that is hampering sort of the emotional element that I really want from this. So I don't know if the Vampire Lestat is going to bring more of the emotional sort of journey to the series. So what I'm committed to is I'm definitely going to be continuing with the series until I no longer like it, so that I have sort of a fresh perspective of what the TV show is likely going to bring. But it does mean that as soon as I finish this I can jump into the show, because I believe seasons 1 and 2 cover this book, which is like, it doesn't look very big, does it? Like, this text is horrific. It's not broken into chapters, which I'm not enjoying. The audiobook is, which is what I've been primarily listening to while I've been out and about with family and at work and travelling to and from work. And it's what I'm going to do this evening. I'm going to pop the audiobook on and knit because I'm really cool and I'm not knitting the cardigan. I don't know if people have been around for long enough and saw my video at the beginning of the year where I said I was absolutely going to finish a cardigan this year. Hopefully I am, but that's not happened yet. Didn't happen in time for my August Taylor Swift concert, but I'm hoping to have it ready for like the latter end of the autumnal season into winter. But my brain it's too tired to do both audiobooking and cardigan knitting today, because I need to start shaping for armholes and things, and like doing the net, which means moving stitches onto different things to hold them. I just don't want to do that right now. I'm hoping the weekend I'll be on it, but maybe I won't, so I'm just going to knit a basic scarf, finish off this audiobook, and then I will let you know how it goes. But hopefully, whilst I then continue with the rest of the vampire books, maybe it will like tar my experience of them by mixing too much vampire media. But I feel like I'm going to be starting the Interview with the Vampire show soon, and if I don't do that, I'll definitely at least watch the Brad Pitt Tom Cruise movie, so that I can hopefully move on to like the superior final form version of Interview with the Vampire that I should be sticking with. I do feel like it's going to be like, it's going to take over my entire life for a while, I think, so looking forward to that. Oh, one other random thought I had while reading this is that there was a distinct moment in this when Louis was like, I had kept Lestat financially dependent on me, and I'm really interested to see how they twist that for the show, because obviously in the time the show is set, I think it's like late 1800s, early 1900s New Orleans. I'm not 100% sure, like don't quote me on anything, I've not watched the show yet, but it's definitely set in New Orleans, and Jacob Anderson is definitely not white, and Sam Reed definitely is. So I'm wondering how the power balance of their dynamic and their relationship is in the show, because Lestat has a lot of the power in this because he has the vampiric knowledge, he has some powers that haven't really been explained, we don't understand, but Louis has the money, and Lestat is quite like jealous of the fact that Louis is in control of all of that and Lestat doesn't have anything in his name, and that was definitely sort of an issue that cropped up. But I don't know how that's going to translate into the show, because Lestat will be sort of superior in both financiary and sort of power imbalance with the whole vampiric side of it. And I'm just, is Lestat just like really lonely and like just wants Louis around? Like I don't understand what the relationship is going to look like, so I'm interested to see how that plays out. But yeah, I think I have talked quite enough about this book for now, so I'm going to go finish it, and I will check in with you maybe later today, maybe later this evening, maybe tomorrow, with my final thoughts and hopefully a vague synopsis of what the next book is, because I don't think I know for most of them anything other than a very brief overview, so we'll see. Hello, it is I, not in yesterday's clothes, because I did not in fact finish Interview with the Vampire yesterday. I got distracted watching Anastasia and listening to the Swan Princess music because I am an adult. But I can remove my bookmark now because I have in fact now finished Interview with the Vampire, and I don't know what racing I'm settling on. I'm disappointed with my enjoyment level of this because I really thought I was going to love it, and I fear what I have done is seen too much out of context ABC's Interview with the Vampire and assumed that it was faithful to the narrative. And I fear that is not the case. So my issue with this is it's not particularly long, and it spans a vampire's like quite long existence. Like it covers quite a scope of time, and I feel like we don't actually get any emotional depth considering the amount of time Louis has spent with each person. I also feel like I was very confused when this journalist was not an old man, because what do you mean? That's who he is in the show. So that was interesting. I feel like we didn't get a lot of Armand in this, which I thought we were going to get. I wasn't invested in Louis and Claudia's relationship, so I didn't really care about like the crux of like the drama at the end of this. It was just all a bit lackluster and upsetting, but I think it bodes very well for my enjoyment of the TV show. So do I have any actual literary critique of this? I thought it was well written. I think Anne Rice could certainly put sentences together. The characters were all, I guess, fleshed out. No, that's a lie. They weren't. The characters were all interesting, but I wanted more from their sort of relationships, I think. Yeah, and I do think it was hampered by the fact that it is Louis recounting his experience rather than us seeing events unfold in real time, because it just, yeah, it did give that emotional distance and the benefit of foresight and hindsight, not foresight, hindsight, that comes from recounting things in the past. But yeah, I'm excited to see what the show does with the dynamics of all of the characters. I'm excited to watch the movie, though I feel like I might like that less than the show. But hey ho, and I will also be starting my next vampire book soon, tomorrow maybe. Feeling kind of tired this evening, so yeah, I will probably end up taking either Woman Eating or the Paul Bearers Club to work tomorrow to read on my lunch break, etc. So yeah, once I've decided what I'm reading, I will hopefully give you a synopsis of one of them, because I'm pretty sure my introduction was not very good. But yeah, that's about it for now. Hello, I thought I would check in with you and let you know that I am starting my next book for this vlog, and I don't think it's any of the books I told you it was going to be. I'm going to be reading Woman Eating by Claire Coder, which is a more literary, slow book about a woman who is a vampire and moves out of her house and just then struggles to find blood and like do her art, I guess. Yeah. So this was a birthday gift from Jem at The Creepy Geek, so thank you, Jem. Jem really liked it. I'm hoping I do too. I know Chloe also enjoyed this one, so fingers crossed. I will come back to you when I have more of a synopsis, or at least some thoughts about the first 50 to 100 pages or so. But it's not very long, so I'm hoping to finish it this evening. So I'm going to go get some tea, I'm going to go get some pumpkin loaf because Chloe has been baking, and I'm going to get cracking with this one. Hello, good evening. It has been a day since I told you I was definitely gonna read Woman Eating in an evening. I didn't. I didn't read much. I'm like, maybe it's been 2 days. I went to the theatre yesterday. I think I took some footage of me walking across the bridge, and I ended up picking this up on Spotify, listened to as an audiobook, because I just didn't really read anything the evening I said I was going to read this. And then I didn't come in and talk to you halfway through to give you my thoughts or how I was feeling. I don't really remember what I said to you the last time I checked in about it, because it's just been a weird couple of days where I've just not really had thoughts that I felt I could articulate well enough to share. But I've now finished Woman Eating. I did listen to the audio, both walking from the theatre and at work today, and I really enjoyed this. I'm going to give this 4 stars. It wasn't a 5 because, how do I articulate? I appreciated its slowness and its sort of thoughtfulness and how it was like a coming of age story for a girl who has not seen anyone model that coming of age, and she has no one to look at for guidance because she has a tumultuous relationship with her mother and she can't talk to anyone else about it because vampires aren't real, and sort of the literary element of it being slow and being character like driven and not plot driven, I did really like. I just also felt like it, not that it was too slow, but that it was too soft. Like it didn't go hard enough. There was nothing like super dramatic or weird or like nonsensical. Like everything was just slow, and so it almost felt normal. Like obviously it's not normal. It's about a vampire who's an artist who can't find blood and whose mother's in a home, and it's a lot for Liz, our main character. But it was also just about like, well, a young woman starting an internship, so being in the workplace and being vastly underpaid for the amount of work she has to do because capitalism sucks and the arts are massively underfunded and just don't get enough support. But also being a young woman in a position where the men that she works with can take advantage of her, and the men that she is around in art spaces can also sort of lead her on and have difficult relationships with her that sort of make her question things. But then she's also got the added struggle of like, she's really hungry because she has nowhere to access blood that is sort of vaguely ethical in any way. So yeah, 4 stars. I just wish it had gone a bit more wacky at the end. Like I feel like I wanted this to sort of be weird in the way that Bunny was weird, and it wasn't. It was sort of almost mundane in its weirdness, which I did really enjoy. It just wasn't new favourite level. But thank you very much for Jem, who got this for me for my birthday a while back. I did really enjoy it, and I'm glad that I have it on my shelf. So what have we got left for this vlog? We have A Tempest of Tea by Hafsa Faisal, which is a very different vibe. It's young adult fantasy with the vampiric element, but like our main character's not a vampire, which is sort of the track that most vampire books take. If they're not the baddie, they're the main character. Or An Interview with a Vampire. They're both, which is interesting. We have the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires, where we obviously have vampires as the big bad, which I could start on audio tomorrow. And we have the Pallbearers Club, which I don't really know where vampires fit in. I just know it is vampiric, and like I really don't think that my camera's straight at the moment. So what we're going to do is we're going to call it a night. I'm going to go to bed, I'm going to get some sleep, and hopefully tomorrow have more of an idea of what my next vampire book is going to be. So hopefully these thoughts were coherent, and we'll go from there. Hello, I'm coming coming at you a little bit tired, but I just wanted to let you know that I have started my next book for this vlog, which is A Tempest of Tea by Hafsah Faizal, which is the least sort of spooky vampiric book on this list. I just needed an excuse to read Hafsah Faizal's newest release. So this is about Arti, who owns a tea room by day, and it by night is a blood room. Doesn't sound right, like a tea room makes sense. I guess a blood bar. It says a vampiric clientele of the evening, and I know there is a heist, but I don't know why there is a heist. I don't know why the heist is necessary. I'm 3 chapters into this now, and so far it does not seem to have the pretty writing style that We Hunt the Flame had, and I'm a little bit sad about it, but maybe it will creep in a little bit later when because it's a very different atmosphere. It's sort of like a city vibe rather than like a sprawling desert forest vibe. Maybe it was just more difficult to get the pretty language in, and we'll get it later when we're settled, but we'll see. Fingers crossed that I get some pretty Hafsah Faizal writing. And I guess I will update you about 50% in. I will say, stopped for a cocktail after work today, so I don't know how much I'm going to get read this evening. We'll see. Fingers crossed for me. Hello. It's been a couple of hours. I'm very tired, so if this update does not make sense, then apologies to editing again. I'm now halfway through A Tempest of Tea. I am enjoying it, but not as much as I wanted to be. I feel like I went into it with very high expectations because I love Hafsah Faizal's previous duology, and it's not delivering the same like gorgeous writing. Like, I don't know, the plot and the characters just aren't sort of meshing in my brain the same way, but I am enjoying the sort of, I don't know, like the attempts at a meaningful conversation around colonialism and imperialism and the sort of nature of those relationships on a population of people. And I'm also enjoying the hints at romance that we're getting between all, because it's more of an ensemble cast than the Sands of Aralia duology, and I'm enjoying like the hints of the interpersonal relationships we're getting. I'm also enjoying the kitten. Like, there's a cat. It's not got a name yet. I need it to have a name soon so I can become more emotionally invested in the cat. But yeah, we have yet to heist, but I know why we're heisting, which is because Arti, our main character, owns a tea shop, and that tea shop in the next 2 weeks is going to be owned by her, like the leader of the country that she lives in, who hates her. And you know, it'd be very bad if the building that their tea shop is in is owned by someone who wants to shut them down. So there's a whole plot involving trying to mitigate the threat posed by this. And I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the characters. I like Jin. I like how flirty he is with Flick. I like Flick, although she's a little bit boring. Honestly, at the moment, I hope she grows on me, because at the moment she's just a sort of stuck-up daughter of the creator of what is basically the East India Company. And like, no one wants to root for the daughter of the creator of the East India Trading Company, you know? Who else have we got? Well, we've got Arti, obviously. She's fun, as she hates everything. And I love that for her. Honestly, girl, get your vengeance. We also have Laith. No, fuck all about Laith, apart from the fact he seems to have adopted a cat, so obviously enjoy him. He also mentioned my dude Nasir from the Sands of Aralia, so obviously loved that mention. And we have Mateo, who is the first vampire that we get introduced to in this book. The vampires so far, not a massive presence. Doesn't really sort of qualify them being in the vampire vlog, but we have a vampire main character, and they are infiltrating a secret vampire club, so we'll see how it goes. I may continue reading it tonight and give you my thoughts tomorrow when I'm more put together, but I might just continue reading it tomorrow. I guess we'll both find out together. Hello, welcome to terrible lighting and just a hideously messy room. So I'm filming this clip hoping it keeps me accountable, because I am not very far into the Southern Book Club's guide to slaying vampires, and if I put the audiobook on now and tidy my room, I will feel way better about continuing it tomorrow. So, the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix is about a group of women who have a book club in, like, is it the 50s? I feel like it's the 50s. Let's just say it's the 50s. It's giving 50s. And they're just like housewives, you know. They all have their quaint little houses. They're all wearing their quaint little outfits. They're all taking their kids to school, doing whatever it is that housewives in the 50s in Southern America did. And they have a book club. And no one's liking the books that are being picked. No one's having a good time. So they all start, like, they all leave that book club, start a new one, start reading, like, true crime and, like, thrillers and romances, and have a much better time. And then on the way home from book club one night, a woman gets like attacked by a raccoon, I think, and then a woman, and I'm assuming these housewives then have to try and save their neighbourhood from vampires, but I don't know how these vampires have come about, etc. So yeah, but my room is so messy that I can't even show you the extent of it. Just see how messy the bookshelves are, and then you'll have some vague idea of how messy the rest of the room is, but it's all fine. I can tidy it. I've been so tired and like almost ill for a couple of weeks now. For like a week and a half. And my reading has stalled as a result, and I've just been feeling really grim about being in my room, but all I want to do is sleep. So I've just not been sleeping well because my room is gross. And I also fell down a cross-stitching hole on the internet, and I don't feel like I can cross-stitch to my heart's content if my room is messy when I should be tidying it. So I need to put all my clothes away, get a drawer organised. Tomorrow I will hoover. It feels a bit late to start hoovering, it's like pitch black outside, and just do some bits and pieces of organising, change my bedding so that I can just feel a bit better about the state of my life, because looking at my room at the moment, honestly, it makes me want to cry, and like, we don't have time for that, you know? We're grown-ups. I'm a big girl, I can tidy my room and not cry about it. So accountability. Oh my god, just left, didn't even tell you, I finished a Tempest of Tea like a week and a half ago now, just before I started feeling like shit all the time. I'm even at 4 stars. I am disappointed that I didn't like it as much as the Sands of Araria duology. I do think that it's hampered by its writing style not being as pretty. Like I went into it thinking it was going to be as beautiful as the Sands of Araria, and it definitely leans more towards a more actiony, like Six of Crows vibe. And I don't want to compare it to Six of Crows too much because like a lot of that happened when the book was announced, and it sort of had a negative connotation to it because everyone was saying nobody wants another Six of Crows, we already have that. I was like, no, I do want it. I love Hafsa Faisal's writing and character work, but it does sort of remind me of Six of Crows in the way that you can go into Six of Crows having not read Ruin and Rising. Ruin and Rising, that's not the Shadowrun poem, but the worlds are sort of like connected, but in a way that what's going on in there doesn't really affect what's going on in the main plot line. So like Araria has been mentioned and there's a character from Araria, but it doesn't, if you've not read the duology, it won't make any difference to your enjoyment. You'll just like miss a few like nods to it that like did make me smile. But yeah, I just think the writing wasn't as pretty. The plot felt the pacing felt a little bit weird, and it being a ensemble cast, I sort of didn't really care about Fliss's sections because she was sort of like my mother who basically runs the East India Trading Company. Like I must betray these people who've like broken me out of jail so that she loves me again. And I'm like, bitch, your mum runs the East India Trading Company. Like, what are we doing here? It was, yeah, she was irritating. She got better, but like irritating. But like, I'm excited to continue with the duology, and I'm excited to see where we go in the next book in terms of the romances, because I was having fun with the romances. But yeah, hopefully I'll give like a better conclusionary thought to A Tempest of Tea when I wrap up this video, because I know that sucked. But I just thought I had to get some thoughts out now. Okay, it has been an hour and a half, 2 hours? I don't know, some time since I last checked in, and my room is now tidier. It's still not like I'm gonna give you a tour tidy, like my bookshelves are still in desperate need of organising, and there's still like random crap dotted around in like not its home, but like all of my clothes are away, my bed has been remade, I'm gonna go shower, and it's gonna be great to go to sleep in a freshly made bed with no clothes or suitcases or random like rubbish just chilling where it doesn't belong. So yeah, and I listened to quite a bit of, I think I'm like just past page 200 of Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix, and oh my god, like tentative spoiler alert here. I'm not going to go into details about the scene, but if you've read it, you know there's a scene with rats that was just horrific. I just did not enjoy it at all, and I messaged Jem about it as I was listening, and I was like, babe, how did no one give me any warning for this? But it's been less rat heavy since, and we're sort of getting into the nitty gritty of they kind of know it's vampires now, and they're trying to protect the children. And it's not set in the 50s. Don't know where that came from. It's set in the 90s, and it's set in like a town where there is a black population, and they sort of live a little bit further out, and no one wants to go visit it, and there's sort of a racial element happening in that the vampire seems to be targeting black children, and that's, I'm not sure how sensitively Grady Hendrix is handling it. Like, I don't think he's handling it badly, but I feel like I need to look at reviews from black reviewers before I sort of give any definitive judgment there. Like, I'm enjoying it fine. I'm not loving it, but like there is definitely like a suspense element and a atmospheric quality to it that like parts of it are making me quite like nervous. Like there was a bit with a guy walking on a ceiling, walking on like the roof of a house, and like I was genuinely quite tense during it, and I think like the audiobook is the way to go for me with this because it does help build that sort of tension and drama in a way that me skimming over it with my eyes perhaps would not. So yeah, making good progress with this. I'm hoping to finish it tomorrow whilst at work, so stay tuned for more updates, I guess. And then we only have one book left after that, so hopefully this isn't feeling like a 5-star, but fingers crossed for Paul Bear's Club, because it would be very nice to have a 5-star for this vlog. Fingers crossed. Hello. I feel like this is a very similar position to yesterday when I was updating you. Maybe? I don't know. I don't remember. It's been a long day. But I have been making good progress in the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires today at work. I didn't finish it because my brain wasn't really focusing and I was getting very distracted. Where am I up to? I don't know, like over 327 pages, but I can't be able to figure out exactly where I'm up to. I've got about an hour of the audio left, which I'm going to listen to whilst I cook, because I'm really exciting like that. So my thoughts are, I fucking hate men. Every single one in this can go die. Truly hate them. They've made me so angry. It's pissed me off so much. Her friends have made me angry. Patricia's friends. Her kids have made me angry. Her husband can go kill himself. I don't even want him to just die. That feels too passive. I want something terrible to happen to him. He's so frustrating. Pardon me. We're back. My battery died like mid-rant. So I don't know quite what I was saying, but I do know that I was mad at everyone involved in this story. Yeah, it's truly been a frustrating experience. But nothing has been as gross as the rats. There was trigger warnings for sexual assault, like animal abuse, like just misogyny, all that. No, there was like quite a vivid description of a sexual assault, and like spoilers here, but like it was sort of, this is going to make me sound incredibly heartless, and like please know that I take sexual assault very seriously and it should not happen to anybody, but the way that it was written, there was a line that was just sort of sprinkled in about how she had been playing Monopoly and how as it was happening the Monopoly money went everywhere, and it just was quite a comedic phrasing of it whilst it was in this very deep sort of dark conversation, and it just altered the tone slightly. I didn't quite know what to do with that. But yeah, I'm going to finish it now and come back to you with my thoughts, and then hopefully tomorrow I will be starting the Pallbearers Club. So yeah, I wouldn't say I'm having a good time, like it's making me feel too many angry emotions for it to be good, but like it's making me feel those emotions, so it does something right, you know? Good evening, everybody. This is hopefully going to be the last evening of this vlog. So this evening, I am determined to sit down and read the entirety of the Pallbearers Club and come back to you with my thoughts and feelings on it when I'm done. It's a fairly short audiobook. I'm going to listen to the audio as I read along, and it's less than 300 pages. So I don't think I'm going to come back and update you whilst I'm reading. That feels unlikely. So just a reminder, this is a guy who is writing a memoir, and his, I'm assuming, friend has found the manuscript and is sort of adding notes as she goes along, and is like, I don't think you're recounting this correctly, and just sort of add some quippy one-liners throughout the manuscript and then like notes at the end of each chapter. And this is either vampiric or it isn't, based on the cryptic things Chloe has said as I've been mentioning that I'm reading this book. So fingers crossed that with our final book we have a 5-star for the vlog. And also I finished Interview with the Vampire season 1 from AMC. Is it AMC? I keep wanting to say ABC and it's not correct. From AMC. Oh man, such a good show. I'm so excited to watch season 2. Absolutely night and day from my experience with the book, because it actually delved into their relationship in like a positive manner. By there I mean Louis and Lestat, and it also gave a much more paternal relationship to Louis and Claudia. So we're like narratively, I guess, like halfway through Interview with the Vampire, the book, for the first season of the show, and I'm excited to progress into season 2, which continues with the sort of post Lestat era of Louis and Claudia, so that's exciting. But yeah, I'll check in with you soon when I have an update for you on the Pallbearers Club. Okay guys, it has been several hours now. I think we're in a very similar spot to where I last checked in with you, plus a few hours, and I have finished the Pallbearers Club. I didn't want to stop and check in with you partway through. I was having a good time and I just wanted to read it. So this is about Art Barbara, which is not his name, but it's what he refers to himself by the entire book, who has scoliosis. When he was in high school he didn't really have many friends, and like creates a club to look good on college applications called the Pallbearers Club, where they will go and be pallbearers at the funerals of people who don't really have anyone to be there for them. And at this club he puts up flyers all around. He meets Mercy, who's seen one of the flyers and got in touch. Mercy, also not her name, he's using fake names to be nice to the people whose identities he's talking about. And him and Mercy become friends, they listen to music together, they go on adventures, and then something happens and Art begins to think that Mercy is not what she seems, and then the entire narrative is Art writing a memoir that has a supernatural vibe to it, and Mercy commenting as if we're in a real world scenario, being like, this is crazy, what's he talking about? And it's full of sort of like the internal struggle of Art as he's coming to grips with this supernatural element, and his friendship with Mercy and his relationship with his family and his body. And it was so good. I don't understand why the rating is so low on this one. Like, I get that it's not like super high action, I get it's not super like horror heavy, but like it's so quietly unsettling, and like so like it, like people say that nothing happens. Like, I've looked on Goodreads and like it's so boring. I'm like, what are you talking about? Things happen all the time. So many things are happening. I really liked it. And I think I've recently been trying to read House of Leaves, which is not in this vlog, but you will hopefully see in a vlog coming soon. And it has a sort of similar narrative device in that you have one story and then it's being commented upon by someone else, and you have the footnotes, etc. in House of Leaves. And it works so much better in this because I feel like the interjections are not taking away from the narrative as it's happening. A lot of them are sort of, they're like quippy one-liners during Art's chapters, and then during Mercy's, at the end of the chapter, she just sort of writes her takes on the chapter that's just gone, which is how I'm now going to be reading House of Leaves, spoiler alert for the Haunted House vlog. And it just works so well in order for you not to lose the rhythm of the story. And I feel like it has a similar vibe to the Athena Club series by Theodora Goss, like The Strange Case of the Alchemist's Daughter, in which one person is writing it and the others all interject with their thoughts of like, no, but this is what happened, and da da da. So I feel like if you like the concept of that in this, but you want something slightly less ambiguous and more like adult leaning, and you want a more sort of fun, light-hearted story, the Athena Club, the Theodora Goss series, starting with The Strange Case of the Alchemist's Daughter, could definitely be for you. I had a lot of fun with that one, and I'm hoping that House of Leaves will start to take a turn into being more of an easy, fun to read style. But yeah, absolutely loved this. I don't know if I'll be checking out more of Paul Tremblay's work. I think I'll wait and see what reviews of horror movie are like. I've not really seen many people talking about it, and I've not really heard anything about his other work, but I did really enjoy this. Less sexy vampire than I wanted in this vlog though. So what did we read? I feel like I did a lot of fun stuff. I don't know if I inserted much b-roll of it, but like I went to the theatre a few times, I went to the Natural History Museum, had some cocktails, etc. So if you've seen that sprinkled through, yay, editing my go me. Watched the Interview with the Vampire Show, fantastic. Had a fun night doing charcuterie with that. And then yeah, we read A Tempest of Tea, which I gave 4 stars, and I'm excited to continue with the sequel, which is a YA heist novel in which there are vampires, but they're not the central plot point. It's very much about a girl who runs a tea shop who is mad at the political infrastructure that wants to prevent her from running her tea shop. And then we also read The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix, which, did I also give that one a 4? I think it's between a 3.5 and a 4. Some of it was really gross, but I did enjoy it. And if you've liked other Grady Hendrix, then yeah, absolutely go for it. It had a sort of sillier vibe. Interview with the Vampire, sadly only giving this 3 stars. I did not think it developed the story in the way that I expected it to. I didn't get the relationships or the plot from it that had been promised by the TV show, which was not a super faithful adaptation. I think it was faithful in spirit rather than in practice, and yeah, I much prefer the TV show so far. I will probably continue with the book though, just to see what the original vibe is. I read Woman Eating by Claire Coda, which is a 4 stars. It was good, it was interesting, it was just a little bit too meandering and slow, also a little bit gross, which was fine, but like so much of it wasn't gross, you know? And finally The Pallbearers Club, which was 5 stars. Really liked it. So like nothing was sexy enough. I think if we're talking about like my favourite vampire stories, I think it's still going to be The Historian and The Vampires of El Norte, with this one creeping up behind it. I think I need to sit with it a little bit longer. But yeah, I think that's everything from me today. I feel like I've rambled so much in this video for the most part that I now have a book that I really like and I have nothing to say. So fingers crossed that you got everything out of this video that you needed to in order to know if these books were worth reading or you would like them. This is the second part of my 3-part series because I've put out the first one now. If you want to watch the miscellaneous spooky vlog, please do. I will link it probably. And look out for the Haunted House vlog coming next week. But yeah, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you soon.